changing climate also means a changing world order.
It's time to stop treating each disaster as an isolated tragedy and recognize the systemic risk that is unfolding before our eyes. And make no mistake, the costs of fossil fuels are measured not only in climate disasters, but also in energy insecurity and geopolitical instability, as we see playing out today in the Middle East and beyond.
A race for a sustainable future means greater competition for the rare earth minerals needed to drive it. It means competing demands for supply chains and technology, and greater rivalry often means less climate collaboration.
大家好，这里是华人看世界 CNView 频道。在全球冲突频发、动荡不安的当下，气候变化是否正在悄然加剧地缘政治的紧张局势？当极端高温席卷欧洲，当洪灾重创亚洲，我们不仅是在面对自然灾害，更是在见证世界秩序的重构。今年7月成为了过去132年来全球最热的月份，而这场气候危机带来的代价早已超越了环境层面。今天我们将深入探讨，在追求可持续未来的道路上，绿色能源的需求是否正在助长新的地缘博弈？这是否演变成了一种新型的能源殖民？随着全球南方国家通过上合组织与金砖国家平台发出更强音，稀土资源的争夺战又将如何重塑世界格局？本期节目，我们特别邀请到英国共和党海外协会主席格雷格斯文森以及中国资深时事评论员李晶晶两位嘉宾，将围绕绿色技术竞赛、中美关系以及发展中国家的能源诉求展开激烈交锋。到底是良性竞争还是零和博弈？气候合作空间是否正被压缩？欢迎跟随我们的镜头，一起走进这场关于未来与秩序的深度辩论。
This summer has been marred by record-high global temperatures. July 2026 was the hottest single month in 132 years, fueled by persistent European heat waves. In the same month, the world's oceans hit record-high temperatures as well. And the costs aren't purely environmental. It's not only about wildfires and rising sea levels and hurricanes. The UN warns a changing climate also means a changing world order.
It's time to stop treating each disaster as an isolated tragedy and recognize the systemic risk that is unfolding before our eyes. And make no mistake, the costs of fossil fuels are measured not only in climate disasters, but also in energy insecurity and geopolitical instability, as we see playing out today in the Middle East and beyond.
A race for a sustainable future means greater competition for the rare earth minerals needed to drive it. It means competing demands for supply chains and technology, and greater rivalry often means less climate collaboration. So coming up, we'll debate. Is green demand fueling a new geopolitical rivalry? Is a new form of energy colonization emerging in the race for rare earths? And will climate change affect the world order?
Global average. So I don't think the China and India in a competition in climate change, but rather global South countries, development countries are cooperating through organizations like SCO, like BRICS, because for the first time in history, developing countries, through these regional cooperation platforms, are able to amplify their voices and defend their legitimate interests at the world stage.
Okay, Greg, it's an interesting point. Do you think these smaller regional cooperative platforms are giving a voice to some smaller countries that are feeling the brunt of the climate crisis? So it's not fueling geopolitical rivalries, it's solving the rivalries. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I'm not sure that it will have that much of an impact, but yeah, if they want to have some cooperation in the global South and try to, voice their issues, that's great. The problem is in Africa, for example, there's still 500 million people that don't have electricity. And so this kind of virtue signaling from the left about the existential crisis of climate change, which kind of peaked in 2021, 22, backing off quite a bit, which is refreshing. But, the best thing we could do for the global South is to develop more natural gas-fired power plants so we can deliver electricity to the people that need it most. So look, if you were going to need rare earth minerals for not just for green energy, it's also for chips and artificial intelligence and defense and security. Even agriculture needs critical minerals like phosphates. So that's not going to change with the ups and downs of the climate movement or the net zero movement. That's going to continue whether or not we have to, provide battery storage for wind and solar or whatever the newest alternative energy is. So that demand is there. It's going to continue regardless of the green energy virtue signaling.
Is it virtue signaling, Jingjing, do you think? This idea that, these smaller regional groupings can help the global South, are they really?
Well, I'm glad the guest mentioned the struggles that African countries are facing. African countries are also part of the global South families. And as China's leaders mentioned, we are seeing changes that are unseen in a century. And what are the changes? And if we take a look at the world, regional cooperation platforms are in high demands. Countries are enthusiastically joining these regional blocs to look for regional cooperations to maintain stability. And another reason many countries are joining organizations like this is because they are frustrated by the traditional organizations. For example, the so-called rule-based order led by Western countries. But in this traditional rule-based order, normally smaller countries, less developed countries' demands are not being met. Rather, the rules are being set, require them to follow. But for the first time in history, smaller countries, developing countries, through these regional cooperations, are able to defend their legitimate rights. And whether this regional cooperation are bringing tangible benefits to the countries, I can take, there are many corporations, but I can take SCO because it will happen very soon, the SCO as example. Because under these regional organizations, actually concrete support, critical support are bringing to the countries joining this. For example, the SCO provides a multilateral regional platform, holds regular meetings for environmental ministers, and set up working groups on climate change. Member states coordinates cross-border issues such as water allocation, glacier protection, sandstorm prevention, and also through this platform, this SCO also facilitates practical technology transfer.
各位观众朋友，刚才我们通过这场激烈的观点交锋，深入剖析了全球气候议题与地缘政治博弈之间错综复杂的纠葛。这不仅是一场关于能源转型的技术辩论，更是一次关于世界秩序重构的深度思考。当全球气温在2026年7月创下132年来的历史新高，当野火、洪灾与热浪成为常态，我们被迫意识到，气候危机早已不再是单纯的环境议题，而是转化为深刻的系统性地缘风险。正如嘉宾们所言，在追求绿色未来的道路上，稀土资源的争夺、产业链的重塑以及大国之间的战略竞争，正在成为新的博弈焦点。有人担忧这会加剧冲突，有人则认为区域合作机制是破局的关键。无论是全球南方国家通过上合组织寻求发展空间的自主权，还是西方阵营在能源安全与产业独立之间的艰难权衡，这些现象背后都揭示了一个核心逻辑：在百年未有之大变局下，旧的国际规则正在被挑战，而新的合作模式尚在磨合。我们看到绿色技术的竞争并非简单的零和博弈，而是关乎各国如何在应对气候挑战与保障能源安全之间找到平衡点。虽然不同阵营的立场存在巨大鸿沟，但正如我们在辩论中所听到的，无论外界如何博弈， 人类对于稳定、繁荣与可持续发展的渴求是共通的，气候变化是全人类共同的挑战，没有任何一个国家可以独善其身。未来，国际社会面临的考验在于能否超越地缘政治的狭隘竞争，真正通过务实合作，将绿色技术转化为惠及全球的公共产品，而不是将其武器化，成为新的壁垒。本期节目虽然结束了，但关于气候、能源与地缘政治的思考才刚刚开始。在这个充满不确定性的时代，每一个声音都值得被倾听，每一次探讨都可能成为推动共识的基石。感谢各位一直以来对我们频道的关注与支持。如果本期内容引发了您的思考，欢迎您点赞订阅并开启小铃铛，这样您就不会错过后续更多深度解析国际局势的精彩视频。期待在评论区看到您的真知灼见。我们下期节目再见。